Hello everybody, I'm Lilian of Fairy Oasis, and if you were here last time, you know that I want to work on a room box. The specific kind of room box I want to work on is a kitchen that would belong to a cottage witch who loves pastel colors. So I want a lot of pink and mint and that soft blue color and purple, soft purple. I haven't fully picked out the color palette, but I have a good idea. I feel like once I start painting stuff, we'll get a little bit more into that. But this week, I want to work on the flooring. I really want to get that done if I can. Unfortunately, with the Mod Podge and the paint, there are going to be a lot of steps where you have to wait and let the thing dry before you can apply the next layer. Otherwise, bad things happened. I think that happened in one of my flooring experiments where I tried to apply something too soon after, and the stuff just got everywhere because it was wet. I think it was the paint. I had the paint start flaking off into the Mod Podge. So, lesson learned. But, as many of you know, with COVID-19 going around, many of us can't leave our homes. Any of us who are vulnerable really have to stay here. So, first steps are going to be to find out how much egg carton I have to work with and where the floor plan is. I don't remember where I put it. I've been cleaning and moving things around, so I'll have to dig that up. Once I do have that though, I'd really love to show you some of the stuff that I have planned. It's kind of a big project for me. It's going to be a lot more carefully done than my Hundelfolk bar, which was still awesome and amazing, and I should really do some coverage of that in sometime in the future, but that's in the attic, and I'm not interested in getting that down right now. So, the floor. Once I know how much material I have to work with, and exactly how much floor I need to cover, because depending on how I plan on doing the counters and everything, I could opt to not cover the floor where those items would go if it won't be seen. But I also don't know if you'll be able to see under those items because I'm not sure how I'm going to do them, or how the items themselves, the miniatures, will sit without the flooring under them. They might dip behind, so it might actually be a better plan if I just cover the whole floor. It should be a little less than a 10 by 10 inch space, which, if you're not familiar with miniatures, I work in a 1/12 scale. That is 1 inch equals 12 inches, or 1 inch equals 1 foot. So this would ideally be slightly smaller than a 10 by 10 foot kitchen. I have a lot of work to do this week. A lot of drying time. One other thing. The other thing I have to do is, once I know how much I'm covering, I need to get a sheet of paper, a couple sheets of paper, where I can cover enough of the floor to get an idea of what the tiling would look like. I don't know what size tiles I want to do. I could do 1 inch tiles, 1/2 inch tiles, 3/4 inch tiles. I don't want to do 1/4 inch tiles. I feel like that'd be way too small. And I've also decided that I want them to be horizontal vertical. I don't want to do diagonal. I feel like diagonal, especially if I do smaller tiles, will look more modern than what I want for this project. This project, I want to go for updated kitchen, but a kitchen that sort of started really old school, and that's what I really want to do with the slate tiles. So, yeah, let's see if I can find that floor plan and the other plans to go with it. Bye! So, happy news. I found all the plans in the second location that I looked. Isn't it absolutely delightful when you actually clean your space and you can find things? So I have the floor plan here, which I don't think it's going to look super good on the screen just from this. It's kind of hard to see in person unless you know what you're looking at. But I'll see if I can't get a nicer copy up on the screen. But there are other plans that went with it. Some images from the Pinterest board, as well as some plans. The refrigerator, I wanted one of those cute vintage refrigerators. I really want to do it in a soft pink. It was really one of the beginnings of the idea for this. But I did a lot of planning before I got stopped up by the floor. I did a lot of planning before I got stopped up by the floor. And I think this might be the door handle. I have to go through and look at it all and make sure I have all the pieces, but I have pattern pieces for each little piece of the fridge. So that should be a fun project, but that's actually a lot more involved than I want to do right now. I'd really like to get the floor out of the way because it'll be a nice goalpost. Considering it held me up for so long, getting that done and out of the way will be amazing. But this floor plan has 1 by 1 inch squares, so I might actually be able to use that to determine if 1 foot squares is what I want to go with. And honestly, they look pretty good. The ones I used for this test, the last test, were 1 inch and 1/4. It was just the width of the roller I was using, so it just made it real easy. Those seem like they'd be pretty big. I think anything smaller than the 1 inch is going to be too small. So I actually may be cutting out a step now. I guess really the thing to do is to pop this in there. I don't know. I feel like getting a grid pattern in there just so I can see the visual will be so much more helpful. And unless I'm willing to cut up my floor plan, which I am not, I'm not going to get this in there. Not without damaging it. So I guess the next step is our grid patterns and finding out just how much area of usable egg carton I have. I know I have 1.5 egg cartons that I had stashed away. They're behind the camera in my stash of scrap that I use. And I want to say we have some more egg cartons in the kitchen that aren't being used. So those will be my next step. Let's see what happens. So as you can see here, I've made a series of grid patterns on the computer. I thought they'd be easier, faster, more accurate. And I'm going to go ahead and size them inside the room box. I've got 1.5 inch, which is what I thought the experiment floor tiles were, but it was not quite accurate. I've got the ruler width, which is 1 3/16 of an inch. They're pretty similar. I've got 3/4 of an inch, which seems pretty small, but we'll see how it looks inside. And I've got a 1 inch. So I'm also going to grab a couple items so that I can see what the floor tiles might look like with stuff in the room box. So I'll be right back. Alright, I grabbed a few items that I've made myself, except for the table. A dollar store table I fixed up a little bit, not very much, just painted. And let's see how this all looks. See you in a second. This one would be our ruler width. I actually made a mistake when I was printing them out, and I intended to make them a little bit longer. And I only did that on the first one, but I think this will work. This looks fairly good, big slabs. They'd be real easy to make. Got a cat. So yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see what the 1 1/4 looks like. This one honestly doesn't look a lot different. I don't think there'd be much value in differentiating between the two unless the materials come into count. And there will of course be some variety in size by the simple fact of human nature and cutting. It won't be exact. I'm not a machine. So I think this might work really well, this size, or the other size, but let's see the other two. Here we have the 1 inch one. That was the first one I did, so it's the one that's actually lengthwise, fills most of the floor. This one looks pretty good. Not sure though. I'll have to really think about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 3/4 inch tile size. And here we have the 3/4 inch size. I have to say this actually looks really, really good once I have everything on it. I may go with this one. This may be our winner. Time to go do the numbers. Hi again, it's me. Alright, so we're at what I think is going to be the end of my workday today, Wednesday. I've made good progress. I've calculated the number of tiles that I could most possibly need, not accounting for any allowances. I figure I'll cut the tiles and then I can lay them all out before I've painted them and see where everything falls. But it's Wednesday. I've been working for several hours now, and I think it's time to take a break. Maybe I will pick this up again tomorrow. Ta-ta! Really? Really?